What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a live show. It's gonna be kind of a breakdown of what happened last Friday because we didn't have time to do it on Sunday. So we're gonna talk about the game. Obviously, we're gonna talk about maybe a little bit about Genoa. We're gonna talk about Rabiot, about Manna speaking on January and the club in general, and then maybe some other news that came out in the last couple of hours, days, like Yildiz, for example. So that's what we're gonna do. With me today is Malik. How are you doing besides the nosebleed?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Very happy with how things are so far, thankfully. Are you okay?
I'm perfectly fine.
Always good? Always good.
Always good. Like
Yeah.
it is what it is now. Let's go back to Friday because we didn't have a chance to kind of talk about it or break it down on the live show. We won. Was still a big game. Depending, like no matter what happened to Genoa, Napoli this season, it was still a big game, and I think it was especially a big game because they keep talking about place number 5. It's 11 points now from fifth place. At this point, if you don't make it, then well, you just need to look at yourself, and people will probably get sacked. So I think we can put that to bed now, or should put that to bed. But what do you make overall of that win on Friday evening?
Well, it was a very necessary when everyone, I think going into the season, the number one priority was to secure Champions League. And that's very clear from how Allegri speaks about things after games. So now the gap is 12 points. Even Roma dropped points yesterday. Everyone's dropping points below us. Milan dropped points. So us and Inter are starting to break away now. So I think we should genuinely think about challenging all the way in from now on.
You would think that, but I will get back to that with what Manna had to say. Um, the game itself, like you said, like it was necessary. Like we needed to win, for I don't know, like you need to win every single game. But it is a big game, and you need to start winning these games at home. We did that. We did that in our own fashion, in our own way.
Hmm.
I think we won in a way everybody was expecting us to win if we were gonna win that game. We didn't do anything spectacular or anything new or differently than what we have done the last couple of weeks. Actually, it was basically the same thing. I thought the second half was better. I think the second half we controlled it a little, like we usually do in the second half. We controlled it a little better. Like scoring a goal helps, obviously. But even before that goal, I thought the approach or like the idea was a bit different. I think that first half was not good, in my opinion. It wasn't good.
That's
Uh,
all. No?
I'm not even talking about the chance from Kvaratskhelia and Di Lorenzo. Just in general, I don't think the approach was good. Technically, it was really poor throughout the squad. But there were some positives, besides the 3 points, clean sheet, if anyone is really into that stuff. Um, I want to go about individuals on Friday evening because I think that game was more about, or was a lot about individual performances. Um, I did a player rating, and I was very confused with the player rating, so I didn't know what to do. Like Chesney, for example. um,
If Osimhen was off on side, different story.
yeah, that's my point. Like Chesney, if you talk about Chesney, I'm gonna say you have half of the. Okay, I'm not. Maybe let's say one third is like he's amazing, another third is like he's good enough, and another third is like he's garbage. I think it's something between that in the fan base. I like Chesney. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. I think people confuse it with the wage. The wage thing, I'll keep repeating it. It's not on the players. If you walk up to work tomorrow and your boss says I'm gonna triple your wage, you're gonna take it, even though you know I'm not worth that. But you're gonna take it. Like nobody's gonna say no, thank you. I don't want that money. You're gonna take that. So I don't blame that on a player. that should not be in a conversation, in my opinion, when it comes um, to that. When it comes to contract extension, we can talk about it. You know, in that situation, we can have an opinion. But once it's done, like the club offered him that money, it's fine. Like he kept us into like that game could have been done. It could have been done. He kept us into it. And yes, that Oshiman thing was wow. But you have that with Chesney. Once in a while, he switches off. But I think people forget what he actually does throughout 90 minutes in many of these games. You know, I think he's a good goalkeeper, and he kept us into that game because we should have went down a goal if we were being completely honest in that first half, and we would have not won that game. I'm 100% certain we would have lost that game if we went down in that first half.
Yeah, because also we haven't seen how the team responds when going back.
That's also a thing we haven't.
Mhm.
I'm not saying I want him to go down so I can see. Like at one point we will go down. I think coming Friday, is one of those games that the chances are that we will go down. It's gonna be very interesting how this team respond because they need to switch it. Like they need to flip it completely. Like you cannot sit back and wait for that opportunity if you're down. Like you can do it, but like that's just not like
Yeah,
that.
it's not ideal, is it?
It's absolutely not ideal because Genoa or the other team can do the same thing, and then what? So the Chesney one is a weird one because I've seen comments saying, "Oh, he's not even a top 25 goalkeeper in the world or 20 goalkeeper in the world," and I'm like, that's a bit too harsh. Like,
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
it's very harsh, but like that's one of those performances that stood out. That partnership at the back, especially Danilo and Bremer, that was that was very good. But I also looked at it and I'm like, I feel for Oshiman because I've seen it for us. A player just isolated up top and figure it out. It wasn't easy for him. I thought, going into the first 10, 15 minutes, I'm like, he's gonna drift out of that game. If Napoli are gonna set up like that, he's not gonna cause any issues for us. He isn't because it was like they still managed to keep him at bay. Bremer and Danilo and Gatti, but come on. Like I felt for Osimhen because I've seen it for Vlahovic as well, especially last season. It's
Yeah.
just figure it out up top. I've seen Milik play at home live against Napoli, same thing, figure it out. And I was like, this is sad. He's gonna lose that any day of the week. It's gonna lose it because it's very easy to just focus on one player. And they got into his head from minute one. Little push off, little this, little that, staring him down when he loses the ball. They got into his head, and I'll give them credit for that. But yeah, they were excellent at the back. For that part of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, they were. Defensively, I don't have many concerns. It's just, do we have to keep winning like this? I'm not complaining about winning, don't get me wrong, but can't we win in another way? Because no matter who the opponent is, whether it's Napoli, whether it's Cagliari, whether it's Verona, it always has to be very, tense. Like this season, I've never felt relaxed during a game.
Hmm. Um. I
Like, can we win
Yeah.
in another way? That's just my concern because I don't think these grinded wins are very sustainable.
I agree. Like I don't think it's sustainable to keep this type of form, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Um it will be sustainable to have a good season, I guess. Also
yeah,
because the other
definitely.
teams are around you are not that good. You know.
But if we want to win the league, if we want to contend for the league,
I don't. It's not good enough. I don't know if you watch now
yeah,
Inter.
like when I look at us and I look at Inter, I don't know. Inter have this killer mentality about them.
Yeah, they go for it when they get
No,
that
They
goal.
they
They push
they
on.
they wipe out teams. We don't wipe out teams. We're getting wins, but we don't wipe out teams. Like I know at the end of the day it's 3 points, but sometimes that could make the difference.
I think everybody has a feeling that at one point it's gonna stop. You're just not gonna
Hmm.
get away with it at one point. Because we didn't create enough chances. I'll keep saying it, and people will throw the big chances missed at us. And fair, I think Vlahovic in the first half he should be taking that. You know,
Hmm.
he took it the
Yeah.
touch too much. But other than that, we don't create enough. I'll keep saying it. They miss from their first chance here and there. But overall, I don't think we put goalkeepers under a lot of pressure.
No, we don't. If you look at the shots taken per match, chances created per match, it's very low. Even if you look at average possession, especially in the last few games, oh, it's very, very low. We
Oh,
just
that
give things, we give, yeah, like against Monza, it was 30%. It was crazy, crazy numbers.
I think we had 8 shots on target in the last 3 games. That's not a lot for a top
Yeah,
player.
yeah, that's
That's
not a
that's
lot.
and considering who you played as well, like that's just not enough. In my opinion,
Yeah.
that's
That
not
just,
enough.
like, I feel like people kind of brush it under the carpet because we're winning. But
That
imagine this scenario. I'm not trying to be pessimistic or anything, but imagine this scenario. Gatti misses his chance against Monza. Kvara takes his chance against us. We're looking at something completely different now.
it is, and people brush it aside also because they look at the big chances missed. It's Turam, Vlahovic, and I don't know the guy from Udinese and whatever. But what does your eye test tell you? Like, do you have a feeling that we put an opposing goalkeeper under so much pressure that we need to make save after save, or do
No, we
we
don't.
create the type of chances that you're like, oh my god, how did you miss that, or like oh that's out, we outplayed them, just eye test, not stats.
The only time I felt like we properly outplayed an opponent this season was Lazio
Yeah,
and
I agree with
Udinese.
that.
Lazio and Udinese. Other than that, it's been these grinded, like very, very close, save Cortomuso type of wins. But one thing, I'll flip it over. One thing that's good is that we look very tough to beat. You know,
That's
so
it. Yeah, I
yeah.
agree. I think
Like last season, I'd say some of these games we would have lost, but this season, I don't know, just different. We're more of a solid unit, if anything. So
I agree. And you also have I forgot what player was from Inter and Napoli. Um, was it Zielinski? Was it
yeah, yeah,
Zielinski?
I saw that quote where he said this season Juve are
Yeah,
tougher.
and I don't know who it was from Inter. Was it Barella? I'm not sure. And they were also saying like it's tough. Like it's very
Yeah,
tough to break them down. It's very tough to beat them. That's one way to win, I guess. And we are winning, and that's what I said in previous videos. Like I cannot say to Allegri, "You're wrong," because what he thinks is right is working right
yeah.
now. So
But it's okay to have concerns because
yeah,
of
yeah.
the sustainability. Yeah.
Because I think there's quality enough in the squad to do it a different way. You
That's
know,
the thing. Yeah.
like I look at Kostic on Friday, extremely disciplined. Extremely
Mhm.
disciplined. But in possession, I'm like, this is kind of a waste at this moment in time. Like it's a waste. Like there's nothing. There's coming absolutely nothing out of it. Like he offers
Yeah,
nothing going forward.
and I feel like a lot of the players technically make poor decisions or are just technically poor, to put it that way.
I yeah. I
Like they treat the ball like a hot potato
I do
sometimes.
agree with
Always.
that.
Yeah.
But we knew like that's been an issue. Like Allegri repeats it, but I'm like,
It's been an issue for years. We've had this
yeah, but do you
even
think these
before
players are
Allegri.
technically that poor that it continues to happen? Like when I look at the squad, I'm like, it shouldn't be this bad. Like what is the
Yeah,
issue?
yeah. It's not like we're playing 11 Sturaros or something
No,
like that.
like take Vlahovic for example. I gave him a 5 because I give him enough leeway, and he should have taken that shot. That was not his worst game of the season. Like link up play, hold up play, that was probably his
Yeah.
best game of the season.
I mean, yeah, there was still room for improvement,
There
but
is, but like
it was better than
it was
previous.
much better. But you take like that moment, that chance, you need to take that. He takes one touch. I'm like, now
He took a touch too
he
many. He
took a
should have
touch and he gave
He
Nathan
took a
an
touch and
opportunity.
just moved.
And maybe it's lack of form or trust in his own. I feel it's like that, because in the
Yeah, I
second
feel like
half,
he's lacking confidence
in
for
the
sure.
second half, that McKennie offside, he hits that brilliantly. He hits the post. It was offside. I'm like, you can do it. Like, like we know you can do it. And then when you are in that moment in that first half, why take another touch? Just put it away first time, because that's who you are. That's who you should be. Because that's what he did in the second half when he hit that post. It puts that away brilliantly, because that was difficult to put that away. And I'm like, at this moment in time, I think it's gotten into his head. But then again, he puts in Milik and Keane, and I'm like, well, that's not much better. I know Keane got a few minutes, but that was no straight garbage. He was losing everything. And Milik, it
Mhm.
was kind of the same thing. It's not that we have options from the bench and they will do it differently. I don't have that feeling. It's just the same over and over again. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, we won that game. In the second half, when we went up, 10 minutes after we went up, I was like, we're gonna win it. They're not good enough, Napoli, at this moment in time. They're not offering enough to break us down. It looked more dangerous than the Inter game, but that was because I think Inter didn't really push for it. Vlahovic, Napoli had nothing to lose and they went for it. But I never had a feeling they're gonna break us down. I never had that
Yeah,
feeling.
they did look pretty toothless in my opinion.
I
In the
agree.
second half, in the first half, they looked like they were gonna run away with it, but
Maybe
yeah,
that's their
second
issue
half,
as well, not finishing
yeah,
it
they
off.
did. They didn't offer much to threaten in the second half. Like after Gatti scored, I thought to myself, okay, let's just not concede instantly like we did against Inter, and we should be fine. And that was the case.
Yeah. Um, let me get this one out here. Okay. They're busy in their personal life. That's I have no idea why the chat is not coming up. Let me give it a go again. But that's what it is. I talked about it. Let me bring up the chat like this. Let me see if it's coming up. Okay. So Dana saying, guys, first of all, our team is messed. Even before Allegri arrived, no coach in the world can fix the average team instantly. No one. Allegri's doing miracle this season. Allegri's been here for 3 years. Like, it's not a one-off. Like, it's not his first season. You know. So, like, I don't think that's a fair comment. I don't think this team is that average that that a lot of people are making out to be. It's not perfect. It's not top. I get it, but I don't think it's that average as people might suggest. In my opinion, also it's his third season. It's not that he came in into the summer. Like it's his third season. I think people forget that, and he is extremely experienced. You know, and yes, he found a way now to do that. But I think every criticism we gave him is fair. It's fair. Like it's not a rookie. It's not Pirlo in his first year. It's big boy Allegri won it all, like almost won it all in his third years. So I think it's fair. Like it would be crazy to not say oh we cannot criticize him. I think it's fair. I think it's only fair.
Definitely fair, yeah.
Like it's not a kid anymore. Pirlo still has Ronaldo and some veterans in our team like Chiellini and Bonucci. Still can push in the team wins, but again, so did Allegri. He had veterans. Not Ronaldo, fine, but he had Ronaldo before he left, but like he had veterans. Like it's not. I think people are again they're forgetting about the past 2 seasons. Like you cannot do that. I don't think that's fair, in my opinion. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, we can't hide from the fact the past 2 seasons were a disaster.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair. Like I don't. I think absolutely that's absolutely not fair. Also towards certain players in the squad, in my opinion. Because we gave up on players after 1 year. Like, why should we not, quote unquote, give up on a coach after 2 years? But yeah, that's that. Um, another thing I want to talk about in that game was Gatti because he did it again. Like he
Gatto.
did it again.
Mm.
I think people are getting a bit overboard because I don't think, and maybe it's a good thing. I think he can improve and he must improve because defensively it's still not perfect. Look at that Kvara chance. You should just, like we conceded against Inter. Somebody needs to just make the challenge there, and he doesn't do that. I think that are learning like things he needs to improve on. Only time will tell if he will improve. But hey, somehow, some way, he's he's our best attacker at this moment in time. It's
Yeah,
crazy, but
only
it's I don't know how he does it, but he's always at the right moment at
he
the right.
has he has this clutch gene about him, which is so funny. Like all the goals he scored this, like, he's all his goals were scored in this calendar year, by the way, and all of them were like very big goals
Yeah,
against Sporting, against Sevilla, the late equalizer, the go-ahead goal against Torino, the goal against Monza, the goal against Napoli. So big goals, very
it
big
is.
goals.
It's actually crazy. Like I couldn't like
Yeah,
when he
genuinely,
scored, I
it's
was like,
insane.
after I celebrated, I was like, how is it even possible? Like how is how is he keep getting away with it at this point? But that was a
I'll
great
take it. I'll
cross.
take it.
I'll take it because I know who we are at this moment in time as a team. I know it, so I'll take it, and I just go with it. Our team in the past 2 seasons is worse than 10, 11. Dana, Dana, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Don't take this too hard. That's absolutely a flat out lie. It's not. I think people forget. Like it's not. Like that's you're absolutely you're you're insulting this squad. I'm sorry. Like it's not like that. Like let's not do this because it's not. It's there's not a lot more quality in that team compared. I think people forget what team we had in 2010, 11. People look it up.
Oh no, no, no! It's not the same.
It's not
No way.
like these things. I will not allow. I will not allow because then you're insulting the squad. You're absolutely insulting the squad, and you are actually insulting Allegri as well at this point. You are like,
I
come on.
see people on Twitter sometimes comparing, like especially last season, to Del Neri's Juve, and I'm
No,
just
no,
like,
no, no.
no,
We
no.
might play. We played as bad as them.
Yeah,
In
I
the
know, but
eye.
the quality of the
No,
squad,
no, no,
no, no.
no. It's. I think you're insulting Allegri as well. You are.
Yeah.
You're doing
This
him a
this squad
disservice.
has this squad has players like Chiesa. That squad had players like Krasic.
I don't.
So
Uh,
like,
I actually want. No. Let me look it up because I try to. I can't see any class players. Only players, and that team. Rabiot. Wait, what? No. uh, this is getting out of hand. But the 2010 Juve squad had class players. I need to look it up because I blanked that out of my
didn't it
memory.
have El Hero Elia as well? Like these throwback. Oh my god, this is such a throw. I was a kid back then.
No,
I
I
was
no,
suffering as a child.
I need to look it up now. We have Manninger. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He
Mota,
played for
Marco
Liverpool and
Mota,
Oxford.
Traoré, Grigera,
Yeah,
Deschelje, Jesus Christ,
yeah, yeah.
Sørensen, Felipe Melo, Sissoko I do like, Salimičić I did
Yeah,
like,
everyone knows
Aquilani,
Bomo.
Martinez, Krasic, Buchel, then that was vibes, Boniperti, no, 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 no. Silvestro, no, I'm not. I blanked out. Yaquinta up top, Quagliarella,
Also,
which
Candreva too was like on. He was on
Finnish Luca
loan.
Toni, Libertazzi, whoever, like if somebody still remembers that guy. Um, nah, man, Jesus Christ,
Yeah, yeah. No, you could. This it's uncomparable. Like,
that was peak
yeah, no,
banter
no, no.
era.
This squad is 10 times more than that.
Yeah, that was one hell of a rubbish team. I'm not gonna lie. I don't.
Yeah.
I like.
That
Thanks.
that team finished seven properly. I know this. I know we finished seventh last season, but we had a points deduction on the pitch. We finished like third, I think.
Oh my god, I remember. Oh Jesus, I remember watching games and I was like, what am I even watching here? Like that was
Oh yeah.
that was that was peak banter era.
And then suddenly Conte and Marotta come in and just
Yeah, like some were coached, but like we added quality, like Lichtsteiner, Pirlo, like we, like we added good players compared to what we had.
Vucinic, Matri, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not even comparable.
Yeah.
Also, Rabiot class, I think that's kind of a wild child in my opinion.
He's solid, but he has
Yeah, I'm
his
not gonna go
moments.
class.
Yeah. Like I'm not dying for his renewal, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Um, Other than that, we got the 3 points and we keep it moving. I guess we keep it rolling onto Friday. Um, on Rabiot, because that's a topic, and his mom spoke. I made a video about it. Um, I found it very interesting and telling that his mom spoke on a transfer rumor because I don't see any agent doing that, and for a good reason because they would be putting out statements 24/7. The fact that his mom came out and said, "Oh, it's fake news," I was like, "Ugh, it's not worth it." Like,
Yeah.
he's not a player that I'm like, "I'll take it, I'll suck it up." This situation, they're gonna play the long game. Euros on their way, and I'm like, "Come on, like the money he's on is too much," and I get like. Vlahovic is too much, Chesney's too much, but that's done. We cannot change that. Like we cannot do anything. Expect praying or like telling them, please give us a discount, whatever. We cannot do anything about it. We handed out those contracts, so it's pointless to. Uh, it's not like I'm insulting them. In fact, I support them just like you guys. But truth hurts. Yeah, that's not the truth. That squad was straight garbage. We went through it. I think Bologna have a
Yeah.
better squad at
Like
this point in time.
all due respect, you heard the names.
Nah, you're
Compare that
actually
to the
nah.
players
I'm
of this
sorry.
squad. Yeah, I
Uh,
know.
that's not the truth. I'm sorry. Like you cannot rate this squad, fine, but that squad was it was straight garbage. Like that was like nobody wants a squad back. Uh, but when his mom spoke, I'm like, I don't like that because she could have ignored it, and as she should. Like it's a story. Like tomorrow in 2 days there will be another story about. Like there have been Rabiot stories every single week, and now she got to a point where I'm like, nah, I want to tell the world it's not done. We are in charge, and I absolutely do not like that because I don't think he's that type of player. You know, I think he's a player you can replace for cheap. And I get the situation, but forget the money part about transfer fees. He's just not that type of player. If you tell me we need to replace Bremer, I'm like, oh, we don't have the funds for
Yeah.
it. Like we're screwed. Like unless we sell him for big money, what are we gonna do? If you tell me you need to replace Rabiot, I'm like, I think that will be fine. I think we'll find a solution. I think we'll find a way to replace Rabiot, and especially for 8 plus signing on bonuses. Like it's not like he's not signing that contract and that's it. He's a free agent. He gets money. His mom gets money. Money will be spent. And I'm like, it's short term thinking. The good thing is he only has 1 year left. If he wants to get a new deal from us or another club, he needs to perform because he doesn't have a long term deal. But I don't like the situation. I don't like us to be depending on please stay and going into February and planning for the next season with the idea, well, if he's gonna say we can do this, if not, we need to do this, this, and this. Like I'm not a big fan of it, especially because of the type of player he is. Like I spoke on Rabiot many times. I don't hate him. Like a lot of people do hate him. Like I don't have an issue with him as a person, nor as a player. I know who he is, what he offers. But when I look at when I see him play, not once did I say, yeah, give him another 8 million euros. Not once. Not even last season when he was scoring goals did I say, yes, give him another 8 million euros. Not at one moment in time. And I'm having the same feeling again. I just don't like the situation.
Yeah, he's a solid player. He's very consistently available, which is good to have. But he's very replaceable too. So I'm not losing sleep if he doesn't renew.
I get why it's happening. It's easier. Um, it's easy to spend money. Like it's much cheaper to do this than spend a lot of money, whatever. But
Hmm.
you're spending 8 million, and that's going nowhere. Like there's no return from it in the future. You cannot sell him, whatever. I'm just absolutely not a big fan of the situation because even in the first half against Napoli, I was like, oh man, what is this? Like, this is just not good. He picked it up in the second half, but in the first half, it was just again. I'm like, come on, man. Like, it needs to be a bit better than this. It needs to be better, and I'm just not a fan of it. I'm not, and I'll keep saying it. Even if he gets a new deal, I will support him because he plays for us. He needs to do well because I want to win. Um, but I'm just not a fan of the situation. I'm just not a fan of it. Because he's not one of those players. I think it's irreplaceable. Like, you can replace anyone, but I'm like talking financially. Like, if you tell me we need to replace Chiesa or Bremer, we have an issue. Like, we don't have the money for it. You know, we don't. But certain players in the squad, I think you can easily replace with a good normal transfer fee, in my opinion. But Allegri loves him, so like, it, that's what it is at this moment in time. I guess it is what it is. Um,
Yeah.
Last topic is Manna, and it kind of involves what we talked about uh, all weeks and even today. He spoke, and he said two things in one, in opening 2 3 sentences. Where I'm like, okay, what is it? He said, we planned the season with 2 extra players, and he was talking about Pogba and Fagioli. However, I think this is good enough. This team is good enough as we are now. And I'm like, that cannot be true because it's obviously not true. One, and two, you just said you planned the season for a different way. You cannot now say it's good enough. I don't think it's fair towards Allegri to not get him any help in January. He needs help. Even if we play once a week, he needs help. And then he goes on saying, "Ah, but our goal is top four." I'm like, goals change. If you go into January and you're only 2 points off Inter, are you really gonna sit there and be like, "Hey, top four, it's going well," or are you like, "Okay, what can we do for a player who can come in, have an impact, and also is gonna be part of this team moving forward?" You know.
Do you think he actually means that when he says that, or do you think he's just saying
Um,
remove pressure from the players?
I think there's an element of truth into it. You know, I think they're not really. Uh, I don't think their plan is we're gonna make an investment that is also gonna be here for long term. I don't think they have that intention. He says we will seize any opportunity, and I'm like, even if your squad is on point, if there's an opportunity, you'll take that as a club. Like, that's just a given. No, is it? Like, it's just a given. This squad needs help. Like, it needed help. It needed help before the season started, and not just Weah. It definitely needs help now when you lose Pogba and Fagioli, and Weah's not being fit. You know, and then you have Juventus saying, "Oh, but we want to see the youngsters have a contribution. We want, like, we've not seen enough from Nicolosi and Junior." I'm like, that's not that's not on the players. Like, that's on coaching. You know. So if that's your idea, you're probably not going to see anything of them moving forward because they're just not going to play. He's not going to play. So I'm kind of set with the mindset that we're not going to see Junior. Like, I think he's a player that's going to leave. I do believe we're going to sign somebody because I think it would be insane if we don't.
Yeah, this squad needs more depth, especially in midfield.
Um, yeah. I like. We need something. Okay, the wings, whatever. I don't think the formation is really going to change, but I think we lack some creativity in midfield. I think we lack that desperately. You know, um,
Mhm.
Rabiot is not that guy. Locatelli is like playing deep. McKennie, technical, like, I'll rate the
And
effort he
Miretti
puts in.
isn't playing, so
Sorry.
and Miretti isn't getting minutes. So
Yeah, that's also a crazy thing. What's now happening? Like, 2 games, he's not playing. I rate McKennie's effort, but like, he technically is extremely limited. Like,
yeah.
there's a point where in the game where you can see, where you feel like, okay, now it's just too much. Like, certain things we're lacking, things he just cannot offer this squad. He just can't. The attack, whatever, he just lacks. not basic things, but like maybe basic things for a player in that position.
Yeah.
And he's a good guy, whatever, and he works hard, and his effort is appreciated because it's needed now. But in certain areas of the pitch, you can just see he doesn't have it. Like technically, he doesn't see certain things, and for me, it's frustrating because it kind of holds, like it puts a hold on the development as a squad or whatever, as a team,
Mhm.
and that frustrates me personally. It really does. So we need help.
I also feel like his lack of technical ability is emphasized because of the lack of creativity that's going on within the squad
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
And
I agree because you look at
like
him.
if you think back to previous seasons, we always had a player who was not technically the best. I mentioned Sturaro before. Sturaro was playing with Pogba, Tevez,
Padawin.
Dybala. These players could
Yeah,
create something out of nothing and like mask what he lacks.
I agree.
This squad, this squad and the way we play emphasizes the lack of technical ability McKennie has. So,
I agree with that. But like
yeah.
it's already like it's close to January. I'm starting to get a bit worried. I do think we will bring somebody in because I don't think we have an option. I don't think we have a choice at this moment in time. But I'm starting to get a little bit worried. If you don't sign anyone, we will end up like Napoli when they thought they were gonna win the title a few years ago, but then fell short because of exhausted players. I still don't think we're gonna win the title, but just to create a belief or illusion that we can. Like you just need to keep that up. I think Inter, like I don't think we can match Inter with January. Like we need a lot. Like we need
Mhm.
a lot of things to be fixed. So I don't really think that it's gonna happen. Our
Yeah,
bench players,
and I don't think Samarcic and Berardi are enough for
yeah,
that. Could be, but I
our
don't think
bench
so.
players are starting right now. We need real starters. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I like I've said it. We need to think about the 11 out there, and I know a lot of people like the squad. We first like the 11 needs to be improved, and I think that in the summer, whatever, it goes to change information because whatever you think, I don't like Kies in that position, and I don't think he's having fun at it in it as well. When you get him in space, first half against, and I said in my preview, there will be space for Chiesa because that's who Napoli are. They're very undisciplined at the back. At times, it looked very strange. And he got the space, and you can see what Chiesa is able to do in space. Get him in behind players. I don't think you can really do that in the position he's playing now, unless you're playing a team like Napoli or all over the place at the back at times. Um, but that starting 11, we can improve so much on it. Like even if I like certain players, I can accept. You're sitting on the bench. I have no issue with telling you. Like we can improve on Rabiot, in my opinion, on McKennie. We can.
Definitely.
I think we also can improve at the back, but if I don't want to talk about it because a lot of people like these players, but at the end of the day, I want the best for the squad. But
I know who you're talking about
no, just in
when you're
general, like no, but just in general, like okay, Danilo, but like Rugani filled in for many games, and did you know the difference? And it's not a shot at Danilo, but that's just my point. Like
Yeah, yeah,
we
I
can
see it.
improve all over the place, even for players I personally like. Vlahovic's not doing well. Can you improve? I guess not a player comes to mind at this moment in time, if that makes sense. But the way he's performing, yeah, yeah. Like, and if the club comes out in the summer and they sell Vlahovic and then bring in player X, number 9, and he does well, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh man, fuck him. I like Vlahovic. I'm just gonna hate on him. No, like I don't care what your name is, who you are. If you do well, fine. Um, but yeah, that's just definitely not gonna happen in January. We need more, but we need help in January. Or like Allegri needs help in January. I don't think it's fair towards him as well. Losing 2 players and then telling him do the same job. I don't. I don't think
Yeah,
that's fair. Um,
yeah, two players who would have probably been starters. So
yeah, Pogba was definitely gonna start if he's fit,
yeah,
and he would have made a
in
big
fact, Robbie was
difference.
getting good minutes at the end of last season. So
Yeah, yeah. So it is a big issue. It is a big issue, in my opinion. But let's see. Let's see what will happen in January. We're gonna wrap this one up. Everybody who watched, thanks. Like the video, subscribe. I will be back live on Wednesday, and then Sunday again because we play on Friday. So on Sunday and Wednesday we'll be live. Other than that, usual stuff, previews and updates throughout this week. Thanks Malik for joining.
Of course.
Thanks everybody in the chat for joining. Like, subscribe, because a lot of people, I'm gonna call it out. Over 2,000 people monthly watch this channel, like regular watchers, who don't subscribe, which is kind of sad. So subscribe. And yeah, I will see you guys back live on Wednesday.